Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Anmoll Astrology channel. Now, today we have a video on discussion about the topic Ayurveda. And today I have a very wonderful person to discuss it with, Angelica Neri. She is an Ayurvedic practitioner. She's a Reiki master, and she's also a Vedic astrologer. So she has embarked her journey on guiding other women and other people on with this wisdom and knowledge on healing process. So over to you, Angelica. Today we'll talk about Ayurveda. We'll take out all your knowledge and give it to our audience today. Okay, so tell me something about yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on, Anmoll. And yeah, I what I love to do as a intuitive healer is bring in all of these modalities. Ayurveda is such a mother science, and it really is the backbone of all the work that I
Mhm,
do as an Ayurvedic practitioner. But I love bringing in Reiki, which is an ancient technique that came from Japan. It's an energy healing technique. I love even doing yoga. That's actually how I got started into the healing sciences and Kundalini yoga. And I also love blending it with Vedic astrology. So, because I really see all these modalities coming together and seeing the similarities. And in order to really address the root cause of the imbalance and address the spiritual, the mental, emotional, and physical body as one, I find that all of these modalities complement each other. And you can't really talk about one without talking about the other. So, that's something that I really find that is unique about what I bring. And what also is unique is that I define the divine feminine version of all of these. And so, what I mean about the divine feminine is not gender based, but it's that part of us that is based on being in the flow, being connected to our creativity, and
mhm.
having a structure that's more based on nature, which is basically what Ayurveda says. So, less of the rigidity and the action all the time, and really a lot with the healing, the nurturing, and the receiving side. This is the kind of format that I teach within all of these healing sciences.
Oh, that's great. And there's a question just that popped into my mind was that you call it was divine feminine, right? I have
Mhm.
heard like people have asked me this question so many times that what is the difference between having masculine planets and having feminine planets in astrology? So I just want to know a very brief meaning from you that what is divine feminine here?
Yeah, it's such a great question because we automatically want to put it towards gender, that it has to be female
Yeah.
and has to be a man. However, it's not a gender based. We each have a divine feminine and divine masculine energy within us. And it's just about exactly how your chart says you are all the planets. It's just in different reflections of each other. It's the same thing. We have both energies just in different proportions. And so, divine feminine is, I see it really connected to a lot of sacral chakra energy. It's connected to the water element. It's being in the flow of life. It's experiencing joy. It's also being able to receiving compliments and receiving abundance. That's part of being able to have reciprocity in nature and being in alignment with nature. When we talk about wanting to call in abundance, if we don't know how to receive it, we're never going to actually have it, right? We're going to keep pushing it away. And
Exactly.
it's also about getting in touch with our sensuality and our sexuality, and knowing that we all have this creative power within us. You know,
Mhm.
sexuality in Vedic wisdom is creative power. So ideas coming forward, that's a birthing process. And we're all creative beings in all different types of ways. So even if you think you're not an artist, that's not the only way to be creative. We're constantly
Exactly.
birthing new things into the world all the time. And that really is the heart of divine feminine, is that creativity, that Shakti energy.
That makes so much sense, right? So, what is Ayurveda?
So Ayurveda, it translates to Ayus,
Mhm.
Ayus, and Veda. So it means life knowledge. It's a science of life. So there's nothing in Ayurveda that we can't really understand anything in this world. It's everything. So it's really based on how we can heal. And it's a
Mhm.
sister science to yoga and Vedic astrology. So yoga is very much this path to enlightenment and spirituality and connecting us to God, source, universe. And Ayurveda is being able to cleanse our mind, body, and soul so we can access that capacity to have enlightenment. So if we think in terms of the chakras, if we are trying to sit and meditate all day and access third eye and crown chakra wisdom, we're actually not going to be able to unless we actually clear the channels of our physical body. So Ayurveda, that's what it was downloaded by the ancient rishis, is so that we can have this wisdom to clear our physical body to heal from disease, so that we
Mhm.
can get further and closer to a state of enlightenment. And it does this in a lot of ways. It does this by finding the root cause of your imbalance, by treating the
Mhm.
mind and the body and the spirit as one,
Mhm.
and also by using diet, lifestyle, herbs if needed, to heal the body. So it's truly the most ancient holistic science that we know of today. So any type of holistic science we see today, if it's naturopathy, even Chinese herb medicine really mirrors a lot of Ayurveda. It truly comes back to the source of Ayurvedic healing.
Okay, so so we can easily say that Ayurveda can be used for healing, right? Is there a
Totally.
particular process, like sort of process or something in Ayurveda which is used for healing?
Definitely. So this is where the term doshas becomes pretty
Hmm.
popular in Ayurveda
Okay.
and how everyone grasps onto it. And
Uh-huh.
dosha means imbalance. And so it really translates to
Imbalance.
where is there an imbalance in the body? And it basically comes down to this unique template. I call it the intuitive template in Ayurveda. And if we can understand this intuitive template, we can understand what diet is best for our body, what lifestyle practices are best for our body. We can understand how to heal our mind, body, and soul. And so I can go into the doshas into a bit, but basically Ayurveda, the science, this intuitive template says that we are nature. We are just a reflection of nature. And if we're out of balance, it means
Yeah,
that we need to realign and be in harmony with nature, because nature is just
exactly.
perfection. So
Exactly.
there are five elements in
Hmm.
Ayurveda, as there are in Jyotish and Vedic
Yeah.
astrology, as there are
Uh-huh.
in yoga. And so these five elements, two elements combined equate to a dosha. Earth and water equal kapha, fire
Hmm.
and a little bit of water equal pitta, air and ether equal vata. So depending on our chemistry and where we are right now, and it's a snapshot, we may have a vata imbalance, we may have a pitta imbalance, we may have a kapha imbalance. And it's a matter of just working with, kind of like an alchemist, of how we can balance these elements. So if I have too much of the earth and water, I bring in fire, air, and ether. If I have too much air and
Okay.
ether,
Okay.
I bring in earth, water, and fire.
Just like we do that in astrology, right? Yeah.
Exactly,
Okay. Okay.
exactly.
That's
It's
that's
that
so
same
relatable.
structure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So, what do you think? What diet or lifestyle is like best for each dosha?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, what I first like to go into before we get into diet is that Ayurveda says that 90% of, so digestion is everything in Ayurveda, because that is
Yeah.
the first system in the body that it goes through. When we eat, it
Mhm.
goes to the digestive system. And so Ayurveda is a huge intricate science that once food goes to the digestive system, if there's a toxin or if it does not get digested well, it's going to transmute disease to the next system of the body, circulatory, and then it'll go to the next system of the body, the muscle. So it's really important to heal digestion first. Let's just put that out there.
Mhm.
So diet, of course, is important, but Ayurveda says that actually 90% of how we digest food is how we eat. Only 10% is what we're eating. So that 10% is huge. We know if we were to have cake and pizza versus having healthy and
Yeah.
vibrant vegetables, it changes. But how we eat, so think of it and Ayurveda proposes I call them the conscious eating habits. Some people call them the healthy eating habits. But how do you eat your meals? Three of my favorite conscious eating habits are: the first one is eating in a peaceful environment. And it's because you become a product of your environment. So if you're eating in a very rajasic, busy environment, you're going to be taking on those energies. So if there's a place where you can go outside, be in nature, or find a quiet place on your patio or your balcony to eat your meal, it's going to be assimilated and digested much easier, because you're not having to digest all
Mhm.
the other sensory experiences around you. So that's one of my favorite conscious eating habits. My next one is going to be chew your food thoroughly. So oftentimes we're constantly eating on the go, we're taking huge bites, we're not assimilating our food. Digestion starts in the mouth because the salivary amylase has enzymes in it that breaks down the food that is necessary. But it's also this helping with digestion so that your body can prepare for the next meal. So chewing your food thoroughly is super important. And the last one that I love to give is waiting a proper amount of time in between meals. This will be different based on dosha, but a good rule of thumb is about 3 to 4 hours between meals so that you
Okay.
can digest your previous meal before moving on to the next one. And that's also, science proves this by having stabilized blood sugar levels, which is important for us for digestion, and being able to eliminate and all that good stuff.
And there's one question I would like to ask. Like personally, I am going through a lot of digestion problem,
Mm,
and so many doctors have just been telling me that you need to have a routine to
yes.
take your food, have your meals. But what they tell me is that in every 2 hours you need to eat something.
Mm,
So, what do you think about that? Like, I think most of the people around in India and everywhere else, doctors have been telling us that we need to have food every 2 hours, and we do not need to have any junk food or anything. Like right now, I'm just craving for the outside food, but I can't
mm,
have it. So, what do you
mm.
have to say about it?
Yeah, that's so interesting. So I find that your body needs time to digest that food. And so if you are spiking, if you're getting these intense hunger cravings, then you're not having a balanced meal in that time. Because if you have an
Yeah,
adequate amount of, the science would say protein, carb, and fat, then you would be fulfilled for a good amount of time where it's okay if you need to even if wait 5 hours between meals because you had proper nourishment and nutrients. But we're on this roller coaster, we're actually having too much of one food and then our body keeps craving it. It's usually sugar. Okay, it's usually
yeah,
carbohydrates.
definitely,
And then
definitely.
when we're having too much of the carbohydrates, our body goes on this roller coaster. And science is already backing this up. However, Ayurveda already knew this. And this is because Ayurveda says what a balanced meal is in their own words is having each of the six tastes, basically having all of the five elements in your meal. And so these six tastes are sweet, salty, sour, bitter, astringent, and pungent. And based on your current imbalance, Vata, Pitta, or Kapha, you would want to favor three of those tastes in your dish. I was actually just talking about this today
Mhm.
with those who are on my certification program. It's a totally different lens to be looking at the world because we think, at least in the West, we think a lot, oh, I need a lot of protein. However, it is true, we
Yeah,
do, but you also need vegetables, you also need a proper amount of fat, and you need carbs. And in our restrictive diet lens, we often think it's all or nothing. We need to
yeah.
have all of one thing and never enough of the other. And Ayurveda is that motherly energy that tells us have balance, have nourishment. What is your body craving? And then how does your body respond to it? What stabilizes it? So I could go into what each of the doshas, some of those exact foods, if that would feel helpful too.
Yeah. Okay, so this was about the diet and every physical elements what we need to put into our body, right? So let's talk about a very overlooked topic, which is emotional healing.
Mm,
So when it comes to Ayurveda, we are mostly concerned about what we put into our body, how to balance our doshas and everything. But I have heard it from you, of course, and from other people as well, that it is also important for emotional healing.
mm.
How do you think it is important, and why emotional healing is the most, overlooked part of Ayurveda?
Yeah, I'm so happy you asked this because this is what I see the most. So, again, we get so fixated on what foods we should be eating, which is important, but then we miss the emotional and the mental healing. Well, if we are an emotional eater, so if we're eating those sweets to find comfort or find nourishment,
Yeah,
we're never going to be satisfied. We're never going to be really healed because you're not healing the emotion behind it. So, it's really important to understand our patterns. That's why I emphasize the conscious eating habits first because that gives us a really good understanding as to what's happening mentally. So let's say a lot of times I get a lot of pitta clients, and pittas are known for being overworking, highly motivated, but have a lack of a self care routine, and they kind of just zip through their days and burn out. And so they always work while eating their lunch, and they don't actually take a lunch break. And so this causes a disrupted digestive system because they are constantly taking in too much and they're not able to fully.
your voice just broke. Yeah. Now you're back.
Hmm. There we are. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's really understand to know the voice inside your head. What is that saying? So a lot of times Pitos will think I base my worth off of how much work I get done. So if I can be productive, if
Mhm.
I can do my work while I'm doing lunch, then I'll be worthy for love, is what it comes down to. Or for the kappas who tend to emotional eat and they find that comfort and support in food, when you take that away, they don't feel supported anymore. They don't feel nourishment. And the reason behind that is because they actually need to have greater boundaries with the people in their life because they are not getting enough support from those people. So it's really
Right.
helpful to understand your dosha in this sense because then you get to understand your emotional behaviors. For vatas, a lot of the time, it's hard for them to find that structure and routine. It's hard for them to eat the meal at the same time every day because they feel like they don't have the freedom. However, they have to realize that what actually gives them freedom is that structure and that they don't have to be afraid to lose their freedom, that they can trust themselves, that they can actually eat the meal at the same time of day, and that's going to give them the freedom that they so desperately want.
Okay, and this is so much similar with the elements, how we judge a sign. Like when you were talking about kapha, they want the freedom, they want everything. I can associate that so much with the air signs. Like air
Mm,
signs want all of the freedom, and fire signs always want to do everything in
exactly.
one go, and they're not even consider, or like they don't even consider self care and anything else. They are always working and they want to be productive,
Yes,
and same goes for the earth signs as well. So that's
totally.
that's how relatable that is. It's very interesting about it. So
It's so
Angelica,
interesting.
Angelica, how can my people or my subscribers connect to you? Like there's some way they can connect, and what can they get out of you?
Yeah, so it's important to first understand, I think, what your dosha is. And I talk about the doshas a lot on my Instagram page at Angelica Feminine Healer. And
Okay.
on there, you can find more information on what dosha is out of balance. I actually have a video, it's called Mini Dosha Quiz. And basically, you
Mhm.
can just take a tally of where you feel in balance in each of the doshas. From there, whether you're a Vata, Pitta, or Kapha in balance, then I have all these posts based on Kapha, Pitta, and Vata, and then you can start to find, okay, where can I heal from this? And I talk about the doshas in all different lenses, and it's meant to be liberated. It's never meant to confine you, but just to show you. A lot of times people think like, oh, I'm vata, so I'm never going to be able to find a routine. I'm always going to be flying at the seat of
Mhm.
my pants. But I love empowering people through my Instagram page and my free resources that you all you need is a little bit of structure and routine, and all you need is a little bit of guidance along the way. And for those that are looking for more support, I have a community. It's called the Divine Feminine Collective, and we're a virtual community. I have people from every country and all over the world, and it's a group of women who are highly sensitive and they want to transform their sensitivities, their ability to feel all their emotions and energies and transform them into their greatest gifts. So in this membership, I offer moon ceremonies. We meet on the new and the full moon, and we talk about what's happening astrologically. We also talk about what doshic season it is, and so how you can help to heal with your diet and your lifestyle, and also how you can emotionally heal wherever that moon lies in, what nakshatra and what sign it is in. We do Kundalini, we
Okay,
do
that's
Reiki,
interesting.
and yeah, I love bringing in Ayurveda, Reiki, and yoga and astrology all together. So in this membership, you're getting a taste of all of this. And there's also a full library. So for those who are just starting on their journey and they want guided meditations, yoga classes, breath work, trainings, that's all in the portal on the membership. So you can have a lot of resources on your healing journey to support you, not just on the new and the full moon ceremony. And the last piece of that is we have a virtual chat. So you get to meet other people from all around the world. A lot of times I hear so often, like, I feel so lonely on this path, and I'm the only one who's interested in these things, and not all my family and friends are there. So it's a really great place to meet people who are just like you, who are doing the same things, who are wanting
Mhm.
to try astrology and getting to connect further that way.
I think people would love to do that. That just sounds so interesting to me. So you just mentioned about a full moon, something about full moon, right? I would. We just went ahead of a full moon on. I guess it was on 13th and 14th of July. right? Can you just
Yes.
talk something about that? The full moon happened in, I guess, in the Gemini and Sagittarius axis, right? I don't know about the Western part,
Yes.
but through the Vedic part, it happened in Gemini and Sagittarius axis. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, so the full moon in Sagittarius, and it was Uttara Ashada Nakshatra. So I say that I saw this as a removing of the obstacles on our dharmic path, because Uttara Ashada is
Mhm.
represented by that elephant tusk, and I really
Yes,
see
yes,
elephant as Ganesha and removing the
yeah,
obstacles. So what we really dove into in my community was how this relates to Saturn in retrograde and going back into Capricorn. And as you know,
yes,
I've been feeling this Saturn in Capricorn because that's where it is natally for me. And for those who
exactly.
have it natally in
Uh-huh.
first house and all the Saturn influences, you'll feel it a lot. So we really went into what are the lessons that we learned from Saturn, this 2.5 year cycle, and now how could this possibly be showing up again throughout this next 6 month cycle when Saturn is back into Capricorn? And how can we apply this to what obstacles are coming up right now? Because I often find when we're really intuitive, even though
Mhm.
Saturn just went retrograde into Capricorn, you feel those inklings ahead of time. I've
Definitely.
already, Saturn is all about the body and rituals and routines. So Saturn loves Ayurveda. It loves aligning. So also with you, while you're
Definitely,
getting interested
definitely.
in your digestion, it's so interesting to
Exactly.
see it that way. So for me, I already changed my diet again. My body's like, nope, I want to change it this way. And I've already had to learn that karmic lesson that came up for me a lot in this 2.5 years, which is trusting my intuition. And so we talked about how you can build a structure around this 6 month period so that your body feels
Yeah.
supported and you can stay on your dharmic path. That's really what I saw this as. And it was really cool to see all the shifts that happened in our circle when we met in the ceremony of, it's just an hour and a half ceremony where we
Okay.
talk about emotional healing, and then we transcend it with kundalini, which is clears the energetic body. But once you find that clarity in your body and can kind of remove those blockages, it's incredible how the downloads and the visions come through, and how you can know what your next step forward is, because these sciences are empowering. You know in your body what you need to take in order to fulfill your soul's purpose. You just have to get out of your own way. So it was really cool to see that last full moon. How did you feel this last full
Uh,
moon?
Actually, the exact same things, because I am an Uttarashad moon, but I'm on the
Wow.
Capricorn side.
Okay.
So, but still, I have major planets in Uttarashad and Sagittarius as well. And my body was actually giving me different signals that you need to work it out now,
Mm,
and that was actually around the time of full moon only, that my health got deteriorated like so much. I got like so much anxiety as well, apart from my body problems as well. So I think Saturn was trying to tell me that now you have to be aligned, because it's my second house. Second
yes.
house is what we
Mm,
take in. So Saturn is actually coming back to my second house. It is trying to teach me with my dietary plans, with what I eat, what I don't eat, how disciplined I am with my dietary system, right? So it's like I'm just trying to satisfy my Saturn right now. It's 6 months journey to satisfy my Saturn, to put in that effort for that discipline and everything.
yes.
So that's a
Yes.
lot right now.
I love it. Yeah, I actually got really sick that last full moon,
Oh
and
my
it took me
God.
down. I hadn't got
Uh-huh.
sick in so long, but I was telling my community I really see every single time that I get sick
Mhm.
as an upgrade. It's ability for my nervous system to
Definitely,
re-regulate
definitely.
and to be able to contain more energy. So it was a full preparation for it,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's so cool to see the connection.
I think rather than just thinking about like why this is happening to me and being sad about it, I think we should look that why this is happening, because always I've seen that planets are coming there. They're doing something just in order to teach us a lesson, or giving something out of it, right? So that
Totally.
thought actually works a lot, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I've been telling everyone all the time that look for the solutions within yourself. Like in Ayurveda, now we have discussed it about Ayurveda. Changes in our body can actually bring out changes in our surroundings. So this is
Yes.
one thing that we need to understand with Ayurveda, with astrology, with everything. So I think that would be a conclusion of this video and of this topic, right? So anything you want to say, anything you want to say to conclude it?
Yeah, so yeah, listening to your body is big. So that's a great example. A lot of people come into Ayurveda because they have chronic conditions, they have digestive issues. I have a
Yeah,
lot of women who come to me, so lots of hormonal issues. And
definitely.
it's easy to think of why me? Why is my body doing this to me? And to think that your body is failing you. And it's always happening for you. So how can you think, how is this happening for me? How is this actually directing me better on my path? And whether that is so you can heal and feel alive in your dharmic path and feel clear, and maybe even guiding you to learn Ayurveda. That is literally the that happens, and everyone who comes into my certification program to become Ayurvedic health coaches is for that reason. So if you've been getting those messages in your body and you want to learn more about it, how to structure and diet and lifestyle, there's so many free resources on my page. And if you want to dive deeper, you can join my community
Mhm.
and and learn more there. So I'm rooting for everyone here, though. I know it can be very difficult when your body feels taxed and low energies, but I just want to empower you that you can heal, and there's nothing that Ayurveda or nothing that you cannot heal from that God wouldn't give you.
Definitely. And now, thank you so much, Angelica. It was so interesting conversation, and I really think that all of our audience are going to love it. So yeah, we'll have you back here again sometime with a good and new topic. So till
Yes.
then, bye bye everyone. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.